So in this video, we're getting toward the end of our tax return, and what we're going to talk about is we're going to talk about that withholdings portion, refundable credits, estimated taxes, as we get into, hey, what's our tax refund, or how much do we actually owe? So this portion is after we've done everything else. We've already determined our income and our adjustments. We've gone through and we started to say, okay, we know what our AGI is. And we took our standard deduction or our itemized deductions. Then we went through and we said, okay, do we have QBI income or Schedule 1A, those four new deductions out there, tip and overtime, those deductions, right? Then we took some of our non refundable credits. All right, now we're getting over to that and we're saying, okay, how much have we paid already? So when we've had our W-2s, if we're a W-2 employee, our employer's been withholding some of that amount as we go through. So we've been paying our taxes, right? Based on our W-4, what we were doing is our filing status, how number of dependents we expected, all those types of things. So we're going to get credit now for those amounts that were withheld because we've already paid it. Same thing. Maybe we're not a W-2 employee, but maybe we've had to pay estimated taxes, throughout the year. We do our four estimated taxes, four amounts throughout the year. Well, we get credit for that because we've already paid our taxes up front. And then, when we have refundable credits like the earned income tax credit and the additional child tax credit, we still treat those things as though it was a payment, even though it's labeled as a credit, is labeled a little bit differently, but we're still treating it in the same capacity. So we want to make sure that we're doing that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you a picture of the 1040 on lines, starting with line 25, because that's where we're getting to this final portion. And let's look at it and let's just kind of walk through it and see what's included there and talk about when it would be a refund and when you would actually owe money. So that way you can interpret your own taxes as you're looking at the return. All right, well, let's go look at that 1040. So what we're looking at now is our 1040. This is just lines 25 through 37. So this is where we have not dealt with it yet because we've dealt with everything as far as trying to get to taxable income and we determined what our taxes were. So now we know what our taxes are. We know what we're going to owe. We've dealt with all those other types of credits that could bring our tax down to zero, but we still have refundable credits that we need to deal with and we need to figure out what we've already paid. So when we look at line number 25, you can see, okay, what is our federal income taxes that were withheld from our W-2 and our 1099, right? So what has our employer been withholding? So if we already had things that have been withheld, if so, we get credit for that. It's going to reduce the amount that we owe in taxes, or it's going to, perhaps if we have zero in taxes that we owe, we're going to now get our refund, right? Because we overpaid. So a refund, by the way, is not a benefit. It's because you've overpaid. So we might be getting back what we've already paid into with the taxes, depending on what our taxable income is. But we're getting credit for anything that was withheld already. So that's what we're looking at in line number 25. When we get over to line number 26, what's happening is now all of a sudden we're saying, oh, okay, well, we have some estimated taxes that we've had to pay. So maybe we've been paying taxes as we've gone through, which we're supposed to do. If we have, say, like a partnership or something like that, where we're supposed to be making these estimated payments. So we're getting credit for the taxes that we've already paid based on those estimated taxes that we've been paying, those estimated payments that we've already paid. So you want to make sure that you do that. Now you'll also see in here, you're going to have some of your earned income credits or your refundable tax credits. So we've gone through and we've talked about these different credits, right? So the earned income tax credit, that appears on line 27. That's the refundable credit. We talked about the additional child tax credit, right? The additional child tax credit, that's the refundable portion of the child tax credit. So you're not seeing the entire child tax credit on here. You're just seeing that portion of it that is considered a refundable tax credit. The American Opportunity Credit is another one. This is your education credit. That is also included on here because that was refundable. The lifetime learning credit's not included because that was not a refundable credit. And you do have the refundable adoption credit as well that you would be able to go ahead and include here, because that's also going to be something that can look at getting us a refund. So the way that we're getting refunds is through these credits, and it's also through our prepayments, our payments that we've made throughout the year. Another thing that could have been included on here is, let's say that we were due a refund last year, and what we decided to do is we decided that we wanted to go ahead and we wanted to apply that refund from last year to the taxes this year. Well, we want to make sure that we're going ahead and we're going to get credit for that as well. So that's what we're dealing with, is we're going through here and we're trying to figure out, okay, well, what was our entire amount? So we go lines 22 and 23, right? Line 22, total other payments and refundable credits. And then line 33 is going to be our total payments. So what we're trying to do is we're trying to figure out, all right, so how much have we actually paid on this, and did we overpay or not? So if we go over to line number 24, and that's telling us, okay, this is what our tax due is, and our tax liability is going to be. Then we're taking all of these lines 25 on down. Well, if the lines here, if we have more that we've already paid than what we actually owed, now all of a sudden what's going to happen is we're going to be getting a refund because we have overpaid. And when we overpay, that means we get more money back because we've overpaid. Now, if instead we had not paid enough for our tax liability, then at that point we have to pay more. That's when you owe those taxes. So it's going to be an amount that's going to actually be due, and that's going to appear in line number 37, the amount that you're going to actually owe. Okay, line 35A was the amount that was going to be refunded to you, and then you can have that directly deposited into your checking or savings account, and that way you're able to get that refund. All right, if this video helped, please make sure you subscribe to this channel, and I hope your tax season's going well.